Morning everyone. So we saw what was the second step of IoT design methodology, that is IoT platform design methodology. Now we will again see the next thing. Okay. So which was the next step? Can you tell? Can anyone tell which is the next step? Which is the third step in IoT design methodology or IoT platform design methodology? Which was the next step? Third step? Yes. Which is the next step? It is domain model specification. So we will start with domain module specification now. Okay. So this is your third step, that is domain module model specification. So any idea what is domain? Can anyone tell me what is domain? Yes, what is domain? Yes, Tejaswini wants to tell something. Third step is domain model specification in your IoT platform design methodology. Okay. So any idea what is domain model? Yes, domain means for whichever you're developing the IoT system. For example, if you're developing the IoT system for agriculture, agriculture will become the domain. Okay. For example, if you're developing the IoT system for bank will become the domain. Okay. Why can anyone tell why domain knowledge is important? Why we should know about domain? Yes, why we need to know about the place where we are developing the software or IoT system. Yes, it is because for whichever we should know what are the processes there. Okay, we have to identify which are using. If you know the domain knowledge, we can identify the entities. Okay, and different thing in that domain. So if we are developing some software for college will become your domain. So we have to know what all will be there in the college, what all will be there, students will be there, teachers will be there, then how what all interaction to make it automate to automate something we should know how the manual process are. Without knowing the manual process we cannot automate. So domain model specification is very important. We have to identify who are the different people involved in the system, how they interact. Okay, all those things we have to know. Okay, so what it does in domain model specification, we describe main concept. Okay, we have to in earlier what we did in process specification, we described the use case. Okay, here in domain model we will understand how is your actually where you are going to build, for whom you are going to build the system, how the system is, how the manual process works. For that, we have to know the main concept involved. Okay, if I'm building for IoT system for college, okay, what are the main things? Students will be there, college will be there, office will be there. So the developer should know all this. And students will take, I will pay the fees. Okay, all those things. So then we have to identify what is the entities, what are the objects, what is the relationship between them, what are the attributes. Okay, all those things are done in domain model. So last year you remember in database also you found out this this what is it, entity for employee company database. What were there in company? Employees were there. Okay, employee salary was there, employee would work on project. All those things you have to identify. So what it defines? Attributes of objects and relationship between them. So what we have to do in domain model specification is we have to describe main concept, entities, objects, and also define the attributes of objects and relationship between the objects. Okay, this will give the abstract representation of the concepts. Okay, abstract view of those concepts, objects and entities this domain model gives. Okay, so it will help you to identify the IoT domain for which the system is designed. Main thing what we do in domain model is we just this what is it? Okay. What we do is we just know how what all are involved in the system and how they interact. So we will find out what are the concept, manual concepts, what is the entity, object, okay, relationship. If you consider for college, what all things will be there? Students will be there, college, this teachers will be there, again office staff will be there. What are the different process? Admission will be there. Okay. So then what else? Exams will be there. So based on this, you have to find out entity, objects, find the relationship, okay, attributes. Attributes are properties of entity. So let's see what all they identify. In domain model, what we identify is physical entity, virtual entity, device, then resources, services, okay. These all things we identify. So can anyone tell what is physical entity? Yes, can anyone tell what is physical entity? Yes. For example, if I consider this home appliances only, light I'll consider. What all physical entity will come in this IoT level? Yes, smart light. What you were doing in smart light? Just now we saw in the last class. What we saw? Smart light. What you will do? Mode will be there, manual or this. What is that? Auto. Based on the level of the light level, it will on and off, or manually you can on and off. So which all physical entities will come here? Yes, which all physical entities will come here? Yes, what will come? Yes, in smart light appliance, what all will come? Room is a physical entity because we have to see the light level in a room. Okay, then where else we should see? Yes, then room is one of the physical entity in home automation or smart light appliance. Okay, so here room is one physical entity, which are physical. Light is one physical entity. Anything else I left? Naina wants to tell something. Yes. So in this example, we can have room and light. So these are the physical entity, that is identified entity which are existing in physical environment. In a IoT system, some will be physical existing physical in physical environment. Okay, that is room and light. Next is virtual entity. Okay, these are what? These are physical entity in digital format. So room and light is there. Okay, so we have to define this room and light in digital world also. Okay, I cannot this I should have an abstract representation of room and light in digital world. That those are known as virtual entity. Okay, for example, see this diagram. Okay, so physical entity what we had in home automation, room we had. Okay, one is room and any appliance. It can be light, refrigerator or anything. Okay, so I'll consider it as light. These are physical entity. For this corresponding one digital representation is required. Okay, so in digital world, how it is represented? It is represented by a virtual entity room and virtual entity appliance. So this also we have to do in domain model specification. Third is device. Okay, so device what it will do? It provides a medium of interaction between physical entity and virtual entity. Okay, for example, where is device? Here, device is there. In this example, what is the device? You can use various device, but you have to make sure it will help in the this relating this virtual entity and physical entity. In this example, we are using device. Which is device we are using? Mini computer. Okay. Again, to that sensors, actuators are connected. Okay. So Third one is device, provides a medium of interaction between physical entity and virtual entity. Again, device are attached to physical entity or placed near physical entity. That is, I told mini computer, yes or no? So on this only, it can be installed. Device can be placed on the this attached or placed near the physical entity. So we can physical entity is there now. Here we can attach to it, connect to it via something, or place in this physical entity only. Okay, the device. So two types of devices there, either which we can connect to the this, or we can this attach to it. Okay, so example, sensors and actuators. In this diagrams also are this. These are your device, sensors and actuators. They're not there on the device, they are just attached. Okay, you can keep on this physical device also, but we are attaching it. So they're telling device provides a medium of interaction between physical entity and virtual entity. They can be attached to physical entity or placed near physical entity. Okay. Next is resources. As you studied in first chapter, resources are what? Software component. Again, resources can be on the device or network. Okay. So some softwares can be installed on the device itself, or some can be on the network, some sensors or any some softwares, networking softwares, all those can be in the network. So resources are nothing but software components. So either they can be installed on the device, or it can be installed on the network. Okay, so that is what. So here, can you see resources? So two types of resources are there, see, which are installed on network, which is installed on device. Okay, so if you have device is this, it can be installed on this also, or you're connecting IoT system via network, right? It can be installed installed on network also. Okay. So that is about resources. Last comes service. What it does, it provides an interface for interacting with physical entities. Okay, so any interface for interacting with physical entities is known as services. So in this example of home automation, we have three services. Okay, one is setting the mode to on and this, that is mode to auto or manual, setting the light appliances on or off, and third one is controller service. Okay, so that's what. So again, first one is only. Auto mode means what will happen? Same thing again, it is setting the mode auto or manual. If auto mode is there, light level is low, switch is on. If light level is high, light is switched off. In manual, state is there. If user press on, it will on. If user press off, it will off. Okay, so that only is given in these five things in domain. What we identified, main concepts, all those things to know more about the how the IoT system is used. Okay, so here you can see user is there. Okay, so here this diagram will give you about domain knowledge. Okay, you have studied this in SC. Can you tell me which diagram shows what? Yes, can you tell me what is this arrow mark? What is this arrow mark? Okay, and what is this arrow mark? In SC you studied. Can you tell me what is? Yes, Priyanka wants to tell. So this is one way association. Okay, what is this then? This is generalization or specialization. And what is diamond symbol? This is your aggregation. In UML diagram you had studied, no, in SC. So remember, this is one way. Okay, one way. This, what is it? Association. Then second one is generalization. Third is aggregation. Okay, so what we have done, we have found out physical entity here. For that, equivalent virtual entity is there. Then What else is there? Device, which forms the interface between virtual entity and physical entity. Again, devices can be, in this example is mini computer. Again, we can have the device attached to it, or this can it sorry, we can have devices attached to the physical entity, or on that only we can place it. Here we are using sensor and actuator for the same. Again, we are using resources. These are the software components. We have two types of resources: network resource and on device resource. Network resources are the software which are installed on network, whereas on device means it is installed on the device only software. Again, we have services which helps in interaction interface for interacting with physical entity. Again, in this we saw three types of services. One was native service, okay, another was mode, okay, and one more was this setting the light appliances on or off. First was mode. You can select auto mode or manual mode. If you select manual mode, you can set up the appliance light appliance on or off. And third is native service, that is controller. If you remember first chapter, you will remember all this. Okay, any doubts you have? This is your step 3 in IoT platform design methodology. Okay, so it means domain model specification, which was previous process specification. Okay, here we need to know more about the domain knowledge. We describe main concepts, entity, objects, okay, and try to find out the relationship between that. And what all we identify here? Physical entity. Okay, physical entity means identifiable entity in physical environment. So same representation, okay, representation of physical entity in what is it? Digital format is known as virtual entity. Physical entity was room and light. So in virtual also we have a virtual entity for corresponding for this physical entity, room and light in the example. Devices will help you interact between physical entity and virtual entity. So you can have either device attached to physical entity or placed near physical entity. So in this example, we use sensor and actuator. Resources. Then resources are software components which can be either on device or network. And last one was services. Okay, provides the interface for interacting with physical entity. So any doubts in third step? Yes. Any doubts in third step? No doubts on we will be having. Okay. So we'll see some of the important questions on this. Okay. Explain controller service of home automation IoT system. Again, you will study in next to next class detail. Today we saw a little bit of these services. Okay. So this for 10 marks the question is this. Explain domain model of home automation IoT system. What you'll write? You have to write what is domain model. Okay. Then write the example, write about physical entity, virtual entity, then write about resources, okay, write about services, then device, and draw the diagram. So this is come for 10 marks, so you have to write in detail. Any other thing? Yes, any other thing? Okay, then I'll end. Kavya, want to tell something?
No,